welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever really thought about what goes into the furniture holding your books, your clothes, or even your family photos? We often just take these pieces for granted, right? But there's this whole unseen layer of engineering and regulation, actually, that makes them safe and reliable. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on one of those critical frameworks, IS 18634.2022. It's the BIS standard for storage units here in India. And it's really more than just some code. It's about protecting you right where you live and work.
Yeah, exactly. And it really comes down to the trust we place in everyday objects, doesn't it? This isn't just, dry regulation. It's like invisible shield, making sure the furniture holding your stuff could be a simple drawer unit or a huge wardrobe is genuinely strong, stable, and crucially safe. So for anyone dealing with the Indian market, understanding this standard, IS 18634.2022, well, it's a bit of a shortcut to figuring out what really defines quality in storage.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. IS 18634.2022. For someone maybe already familiar with quality standards, what's the main headline here? What's its core purpose?
Right. Well, at its heart, IS 11634.2022 is India's key standard for the performance and safety of storage furniture. So we're talking things like modular cabinets, wardrobes, drawer units, sideboards, and that includes both the ones standing on their own, freestanding, and the ones you mount on the wall.
Okay.
But the real game changer here, what takes it beyond just basic structure, is its specific focus on foreseeable misuse.
Foreseeable misuse. That phrase definitely jumps out. Can you give us a sort of a real-world example? What kind of everyday household mishap is this standard trying to prevent?
Oh, absolutely. Think about maybe a kid opening a bunch of drawers at once and trying to climb up.
Right, yeah.
Or just the force of slamming a cabinet door over and over for years. Or even, an adult leaning heavily on a unit trying to reach something high up. This standard actually mandates tests that mimic these very real everyday situations. To make sure the furniture won't just tip over or collapse or, break down way too soon. It stops a common action becoming a hazard. It's about designing for how people actually use things, not just the ideal way.
That focus on real life makes so much sense. But let's get to the mandatory part. This is where it gets really interesting. Why isn't this just a nice to have? Why is BIS certification an absolute must in India?
Yeah.
What's behind making it compulsory?
Okay, this is really the crux of it. Under the government of India's quality control orders, storage units covered by this standard, IS 18634.2022, they're part of BIS's compulsory registration scheme, the CRS.
Compulsory registration. Okay.
Yeah, and the implication is, well, it's pretty straightforward. No BIS certification. Then you cannot manufacture, sell, or import these units in India. Full stop. And here's the really critical reason. Before standards like this became mandatory and strictly enforced, we definitely saw a higher number of incidents, things like furniture tip-overs, structural failures, leading to injuries. While getting exact public numbers is tricky, the industry generally agrees there's been a significant drop in these preventable accidents since these standards came in.
So it's a direct safety measure.
Exactly. It's a direct response to protect Indian consumers from products that are substandard or, frankly, just dangerous.
So it's moved beyond just a quality mark to being a real tangible reduction in risk for families. That's powerful. So given that focus on real-world stuff, how do they actually, put these pieces through their paces? What does the testing process look like for IS 18634.2022? How do they check if a wardrobe or sideboard is actually tough enough?
Well, it's quite a rigorous set of tests. They're designed to simulate years of use and even some abuse. You've got the stability test, probably the most critical one, making sure the unit doesn't tip over. That's huge for preventing accidents, especially with children.
The tip-over risk.
Precisely. Then there's the strength of shelves and drawers test. They load them up way beyond normal use to make sure they don't buckle or break. The door slam test is another one. They cycle the doors, sometimes hundreds, even thousands of times, checking hinge durability.
Okay.
They also look really closely at edge and corner safety, getting rid of sharp points that could cause injury. And for how long it'll last, there's surface resistance testing against scratches, stains, heat. What's interesting, too, is that it's not always just pass-fail. They often have different criteria depending on the type of furniture. A heavy office cabinet needs to withstand different things than, say, a light bedroom nightstand.
That's really thorough. And, it's interesting you mentioned tip-overs globally. That's still a major cause of injury for young kids at home. So this standard hitting that directly is incredibly important. That comprehensive approach makes me wonder, okay, if you're a manufacturer, maybe new to India or just updating your products, what's the actual journey? How do you get this certification? What are the steps involved?
Right. The path is pretty clearly laid out. It starts, naturally, with product testing. This has to be done at a lab that's recognized by BIS and strictly according to IS 18634.2022. This testing phase is really key. You often need to prepare meticulously, make sure the design actually meets all the specs before you even send it for testing.
Okay, so preparation is vital.
Absolutely. Then comes the application submission. That's done online through the BIS portal, and you need a whole load of documents. Being thorough here really avoids delays down the line. Now, for foreign manufacturers, there's an extra step, a mandatory factory audit. That's part of the Foreign Manufacturers Certification Scheme, or FMCS. They actually visit the factory to check quality control processes on site.
Ah, an audit.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And only once everything checks out, all criteria are met, maybe some issues addressed, then the grant of license is issued. And it's not just a one-off thing. Once you're certified, the product absolutely must display the BIS standard mark and the license number. It shows ongoing compliance. I'd say the real challenge often isn't just the paperwork. It's truly embedding the standards requirements right from the design stage, not just trying to fix things later.
Right, so it's less about just ticking boxes at the end and more about building that quality and safety in from the very beginning. That seems crucial for consistent safety. So it sounds like this standard touches a lot of different parts of the furniture industry. Who specifically needs to be thinking about this? Is it just the big household name brands, or does it cover a wider range?
Oh, its reach is pretty extensive, actually. It basically covers any entity that's manufacturing home storage units. Think wardrobes, cabinets, shelves, also modular kitchen cabinets, that's a big one, drawer and filing units, both for home and office, and even specialized institutional storage furniture, like for schools or hospitals.
Okay, so quite broad.
Very broad. And it's really important to stress this applies equally to both Indian manufacturers and foreign manufacturers wanting to sell in India. Foreign companies can go through BIS India directly or use an authorized representative here. The main goal is ensuring consistent quality and safety for all storage units on the Indian market, no matter where they were made. It really levels the playing field.
This deep dive has definitely highlighted how IS 17634.2022 isn't just some technical footnote. It's really a fundamental part of consumer safety and product quality for furniture in India. It's that sort of invisible guarantee behind the things we use every single day.
Yeah, exactly. And, it kind of raises a bigger question, doesn't it? We focused on furniture today, but just think, how many other products in your home, maybe your electronics, your kitchen appliances, are operating under similar, often unseen regulatory frameworks like this one? What does that tell us about all the layers of protection that are out there, often working silently in the background, shaping how safe and reliable our daily lives really are? Something to think about.